You made some really good points about having the real conversations with young people, and
Right.
especially young athletes, and especially young athletes who are minority,
Yes.
who come from inner cities,
Yes.
come from disadvantaged backgrounds, because there are so many rules to the game that you just don't know if
Right.
taught.
That's right.
Will you talk a little bit about their transition from playing college sports to not playing and how to best navigate that?
I talk to athletes that are seniors, practically every week,
Mm-hmm.
and my conversation with them is, you know, what's your prospects like as far as playing at the next level, and if they say I got a good shot, none of them have told me that they were shoe-ins. So if you're not a shoe-in, then you need to start executing plan B.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and that's what I tell them. If you want to play basketball overseas or whatever, definitely do that because you're young and you got the opportunity to do that. But where are you? How close are you to graduating? Bring me, all your transcripts, bring me everything that you have so I can see where you are and where you're going because you need to leave here with a degree. And for some, they go straight into, some graduate assistantships. I just helped one of our track runners. He just graduated in May and just started a master's program in Georgia at Life University. So I help, and that's part of what I do. I'm a coordinator for graduate and professional studies. So what I do is help people, see if they want to go to graduate school or professional school, and I put them in position to do that. So, and I do that every single day. So that transition sometimes can really be tough because you get a lot of athletes who just don't want to give it up, and it's time. And it doesn't take me but 5 minutes to look and see, you know, if you can play or not. It just doesn't take that long. And I can look at someone and say, well, he got a shot at playing, overseas, or he might have a shot at the NBA, or he may have a shot at the NFL, but it's few and far between. It really is. So the transition can be tough, but you have to put them in position to see what they want to do, for the rest of their life. Where do they see themselves? They want to work in athletics. They want to get their graduate degree. I always, encourage them to further their education. Bachelor's degrees just sometimes just doesn't mean much. It just means that you completed something, and that's great because it says that you completed something. But so many people and so many companies and institutions want specialized
Mm-hmm.
degrees. They want to know. They want you to dig a little deeper, and that's sort of where the world is has headed in the last several years. Um, so I get a lot of people that want to be athletic trainers and want to work, sport management, and some they want to be physical therapists and that kind of thing. So I just help them navigate in those directions.
What are some intangibles that you would say are essential for any student graduating, whether it be a college athlete or someone who's not an athlete? What are some skills that they're going to have to be competitive?
You know some of the intangibles and things that I know that they absolutely have to have is they have to be able to forge relationships. They have to be able to um, represent themselves very well. They have to be able to speak well, and I teach them some of those things. We sit down and we do mock sessions in a lot of different areas, interviewing, for jobs. We just have Q&As about, you know, life and just talking about yourself and how you present yourself. I talk to them about, your attire and what you should look like, what that person looked like in that job. There's so many, and it's I'm so glad you asked that. But they have to have the wherewithal. And some of those things you have to teach them because a lot of them don't know.
Yep.
Like a lot of them don't know that you got to cut all that stuff off your face because it doesn't look right. You gotta have a regular haircut because you're already,
Yep.
so you got to be different. You got to be way better. So you got to look like where you're going. And that's a lot of what I talk about. And again, just being able to network and forge those relationships. And I talked to a freshman who had, I was so glad that he came in my office. He just came in and said, Dr. Hodge, I hear that you're the person that I'm supposed to talk to. I said, oh, you did? I said, he told me his name, and he's from Detroit, and he's a freshman. How many freshmen take the initiative?
Yeah, that's huge. That shows a lot of character in this young man.
Yes. And I told him that, I said, son, you are going to do some great things. That's called focus. Yep. That's called I know why I'm here.
Absolutely.
And it's so, how hard it is to get people to come in. There's so much going on and they're having so much fun that this guy says, let me go find Dr. Hodge and see what he's talking about.
Exactly.
One
thing that a lot of young athletes and young people in general don't understand, and we didn't understand this when we got older
right.
as well, is you never know why people cross your path, how they're going to resurface in the future, and how you can create mutually beneficial connections. You have no idea.
Right.
You reached out to me on LinkedIn, and here we are doing this.
Right.
You just don't know.
You don't. You just never know. You just never know. You're absolutely right. But some of those intangibles, you gotta have it. You definitely gotta be you gotta be able to speak. It's so important. It's just so important. And I haven't, I've personality play a big part in it. I've always been an outgoing person. I can be in a crowd of 100 people, and by the time I'm done, I know 50 of them.
Right.
It's just, and they're looking, going, that guy, I like that guy. Yep. I just forge those relationships because you don't know who you're talking to. You don't know what you're going to, I ended up, I was at a restaurant sitting down. I was eating a, what was that? I was eating a wrap, some sort of wrap. This guy comes and sit next to me and he said, man, that looks good. I said, you should try this. He said, what is it? I said, just try it. So I had, he was a scout for the Boston Red Sox. And he said, man, you are too cool. He said, are you ever in Boston? I said, not very much. I said, but my son lives up in Albany, New York. He said, you're not a Yankees fan, are you? And I looked at him because I am a Yankees fan. Mm-hmm. I said, well, he said, you know what? I'm going to give you my card anyway. If you ever want to come to a baseball game, come on to a baseball. That's cool. You never know.
You don't.
But that stuff has happened to me for years because I've put myself in position. Yep. And that's what I teach. That's what I talk to my kids about is you got to be in position. Everybody you meet, smile.
Simple.
Smile.
Remember that though. So what you're teaching is how to build your personal brand.
Yes.
Because people are going to know you. People like to work with people they like. Like that's
one
thing that we're not taught growing up. It's people want to work with people that they like, and people want to work with people who are like them by and large in some way, whether it's you're an athlete, whether it's you're from the same city, you went to the same high school, you went to the same university.
You're right.
When you're in a position to be hired, it's all about connection and cultural fit. They want to make sure that you fit into the culture of the organization or the team.
Right. That's right.
essential for young athletes to know. You can't stay in this little bubble and think that the world is going to open doors to you because you score 20 points a game. Like, no one cares when you're done.
Nobody cares about you at all.
Right? Let's get that straight. Nothing. No one cares. I mean,
You are
you
right.
hope your family still cares, but some of them
Right.
might fall off because
Right.
they're not to the games anymore.
It's over.
It's this life thing is not a game. You know, I
It's
think
not.
with kids get coddled
They do.
when you're an athlete, especially a good athlete, and then when you're no longer of use as an athlete, you're on your own. Unless you've done what you're talking about and built those relationships outside of sport.
You're right. You are absolutely right. Wow.
Conversation we don't have enough.
We don't.
And kids don't want to hear it. Because I'm sure you
don't.
had them. And people had them with us. Like, I don't want to hear that. Like, I'm
Right.
a ball, so I can't ball anymore. Well, you know.
Right. I'm a ball till I'm 50.
Right. Which
and you done at 30.
Dude, some people younger than that.
Yeah.
No, I think the work that you're doing is really important. I think it's great that students have an advocate and someone who's going to be honest with them. And I think it's important that people like yourself continue to tell your story, because it wasn't peaches and cream. Like, you have a doctorate, but you transferred. You dropped out of school for a minute. You had some really difficult times getting there. And young people need to hear that more often.
Absolutely. Absolutely. You're so right.
Yep. So what advice do you have? What advice do you have for young athletes right now who are in college, maybe freshmen or sophomores, and they're trying to find their way?
You know, my advice to athletes and just people, students in general, is sort of universal. You have got to remain focused at all times. And I use focus. Focus is my number one word, because I wasn't. And it cost me more than it should have. Because had I been focused, you know, I would have gotten my grades. You follow what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
That not being focused caused me to lose out on some things. And I talked to them, you know, as a young African American or black or brown person, not being focused is the difference in life and death.
You can't be
That's right. It's the difference in life and death, and I talk to them about that. So my advice is to be focused. But as an athlete, chase your dream. It's okay, but understand that there's no substitute for hard work. You just can't substitute it. So work hard at your craft every single day, but also go to class, be a good citizen, treat people well, and it'll all circle back around for you in such a positive way, and you'll be successful. And that's what I tell all athletes. I mean, and of course, you know, I'm partial to them because I know, you know, and I'm partial because I know what the preparation is,
right.
You know, and I know what it takes to be, you know, I remember having blisters on my feet from running sprints and cutting and do, you know, all the stuff that you know what happens on that court. Just, you know, but being an athlete has put me in position. It's rare because, and you're in that same boat. It's rare. We're a rare breed because we're able to transition in a lot of different ways that most people who wasn't an athlete don't understand.